March 31st, 2025, Bard Finmore here. I'm walking along Toronto, doing a little bit of a Toronto walking tour. Go check out my shorts. And it dawned on me, this city is fascinating. But what built Toronto? The private sector. All these small restaurants and clubs and venues that are not collecting handouts from the government. They've been working very hard to develop the tenure, the culture, the spirit of this great city. And then let's look at the public sector of Canada. Oh my. We're still clinging to these ridiculous, age-old language requirements. Je parle français en petite poche. Je veux parler le français très bien, mais pour moi c'est très difficile. Konnichiwa, watashi wa ba Jason san desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Nihon ni watashi no ichiban basho wa Tokyo desu. Annyeonghaseyo nanun ilaman Jason nida. Pangapsam nida. Okay, I can speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Japanese and Korean, but who cares? Does that matter? Should federal governments still require French language skills? And you can't argue that it's Canadian history, it's Canadian culture for the reason being. I don't think it is, because if it was, you kind of hopscotched over those Indigenous people. I never see any jobs at the federal level requiring an Indigenous language component unless it's a very, specific, specialized position. However, that age-old French language requirement is still there. Hey, why don't we add on all federal jobs, you must have at least a minimum of 5-year private sector experience. So, at least you understand debit, credit, debt, how to turn over a profit, not just spend. I told you people what was going to happen during COVID. You just print. I'm sorry, you can't print your way out of situations, because what happens? Well, we all knew what was going to happen. Inflation. And I've heard people say, and I won't say who, why don't we just give everyone $1 million? Well, if you do that, guess what? A cup of coffee isn't going to cost $2. It's going to cost $100, and a car won't cost $30,000. It's gonna cost $200, and a nice little condo in downtown Toronto isn't gonna be an astronomical $800,000 like it is now. It's gonna be $5 million. So that's not gonna work either. What will work? Okay. How about your top box? Okay. On these applications, so we ensure we recruit competent, talented, skilled people in these positions that influence the whole country. It shouldn't be about gender. It should not be about your sexual orientation. It should not be about culture. Guess what the top box should be? Common sense here. Skill, ability, aptitude to actually do the job. I don't want people there because they have a certain sexual orientation, or they are from a certain cultural background, or whatever it is. I want the most competent, skilled person making decisions that affect this country. Because as I walk around this great city, Toronto, you're doing great, but man, it's nothing like it was in the 80s and early 90s. We have been on a downhill trajectory. It's time to face reality, Canada, okay? So what's going on here? It's simple. Lack of competence at the federal level. We need talented, knowledgeable, skilled people that know what they're doing. It's that simple. And honestly, folks, I really don't care if you speak to the Anglophone population or the Francophone population, but what I care about is the content of your answer. For example, Canada, a country of 40 million people. We are now over $1,000 billion in debt. That's over $1 trillion. Okay, so Wouldn't it be insane or crazy if we hired a prime minister, some kind of kid that was like a trust fund child that really has no common sense, doesn't understand economics, and we hire this person, and let's say we give him a question like, "Sir, we are now over $1 trillion in debt. How do you plan on balancing the budget?" And he goes to the francophone population and says, "Don't worry, the budget will balance itself." And he goes to the anglophone population and says the same thing. "Don't worry, the budget will balance itself." Well, do you see what? Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Didn't we already do that?